Hello. I am going to be finishing up our little rat today, our little reporter rat. I've done the base coat of brown already. I started a little later. I've been starting later. Oh, there's the back end of the pencil. It already broke off. I've been starting a little bit later just because lately I've had things to do on Friday mornings because that's when I get off work because I'm a night shifter. And I like to sleep a little bit longer, if at all possible. It doesn't usually happen, but I try to sleep as much as I can. So yeah, it gets me started a little later because I have to take care of my cats and do stuff before I can set up the art to work on. I meant to pop this pencil off his head, but it broke when he fell back there a few moments ago. Okay. But that's fine. I did make a little notebook for him. So this is just some wire with little cut up pieces of paper, but he's going to be holding this in his hand. So it's his little notebook. I'll be gluing that on once we're done. And I was looking at rat patterns, and I think there's one called a husky type pattern, which is like the face is white, but it goes back somewhat. So I think we're going to do brown and white for the rat. I didn't want to do solid brown because I already did that when I did Ratoncito Perez, the little tooth fairy mouse kind of guy. So I didn't want to make him look identical. So yeah, I think we're going to start with the brown and white on the head. And I will tell you something funny. So when I went to go get my my paint water, when I was doing the base coat, I always have this thing where like just muscle memory. I want to take a cup to my mouth and I nearly drank it. And every time I do this, I don't understand what's wrong with my brain. There's like part of my brain that just wants to drink the paint water and it doesn't make sense. I know it's paint water. You know, I've done the mixing up the cups thing a few times where I nearly drank it because I had my drinking cup of tea and my paint cup next to each other, but yeah, this has been the past couple times of just holding a cup. My brain just instinctively is like, oh, we're supposed to drink from this. And I have to remind myself, no, that's nasty paint water. We don't want to drink that. I think there's something wrong with my brain. But I do believe that is a common artist problem. So yeah, I'm going to do white kind of up here. Get a little lopsided because I don't want him to just be a solid color. I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do for the shirt color and the pants. I think I'm gonna make the pants a dark blue. I kind of just want it to look like a business casual dressy kind of look, you know. So I figured that would be like the appropriate dress code for him. But yeah, I think he'll be fun. Now, I've been looking through the names that people have given me. I didn't get as many. I meant to repost the YouTube one, but I got a comment, and I hate reposting when I have a comment or two, even if the view count is low. Because unfortunately, if the view count's low, you can't do much other than delete and repost. But then I lose any comments I have. So I didn't delete and repost, and I kept it. The names that I'm currently debating about are, I really liked Rodney was one that somebody said. Oh, I think that was on TikTok. And then there was Randolph. And somebody said Reggie, and I like Reggie as well. But I'm really leaning toward Rodney for some reason. So I think he might end up being Rodney the reporter rat. I will try to make up my mind by the time I'm done painting him. Okay. I do think, okay, we'll need this brown here too. And some lighter brown. I don't know if you can't see it now because I'm wearing the hand things again, but my hand is still, 2 weeks later, still bruised up pretty bad. I mean, this one they were fishing the vein around in, or the needle in for the vein. Because this one's pretty much gone. It's a little bruised, but it's almost gone. But yeah, 2 weeks later, and it's still bruised. My leg is not as bruised, thankfully, but that's been good. But I was just like, dang, how long is this going to take to go away? I'm a little impatient, I think, because it's really not, 2 weeks isn't that long. It's just, I wasn't expecting an IV bruise to last 2 weeks. And potentially longer, because it still looks pretty bad. It doesn't hurt too much now, though, so that's good. Okay. Now, this pattern, I think I said earlier, it's called Husky, I think. It's kind of reminds me a little of like some of the saddle patterns that dogs have. But you won't see most of the back, obviously, because he has a shirt. There we go. But I want to pull up my reference photo real quick here. Okay. Yeah, so it's just various like face patterns with white patches that tend to go up a little bit toward the forehead. I'll put a little white on the tips of the hands here. You're not going to see too much of this hand because when I put the, where did I put his notebook? Oh, here it is. When I put the notebook in his hand, it's going to kind of curl over most of it. So that'll be fine. But that notebook was a pain to make. I couldn't get the couldn't get the holes wide enough because I didn't really have a good way to do it because I was just stabbing it with a needle. And I ended up just making a couple loops and kind of making it look like they went the whole way, but they don't. Because it was really just not cooperating with me. So we're going to layer this brown a little bit and some spots here. The nose will be pink. I'm half tempted to give him a little bit of a coloration here just to make it look like he has a mustache. That'd be kind of funny. But yeah, I think I'm really leaning toward Rodney. Rodney seems like a nice name for him. He seems like a Rodney. Rodney or Reggie. I think I will add some white to the ears on the back, probably. We'll see. All right. Okay. So that brown should do the pink. I think I have my light pink tone somewhere. Is it this one? Not quite this one, but we'll start with this and then we'll go over it with a more skin-ish peach color that's not quite so unnaturally pink. And that should be close-ish, but they're decently pink. Actually, I had a tough time doing the nose because rat noses are very specific. And they have like this little ridge in the middle. So it looked odd, but when I looked at the photo, I'm like, yep, that's definitely what a rat nose looks like. So tried to be accurate as I could. Yeah, the ears are definitely not as pink as the nose is. Although it does depend a little bit. But yeah, we'll go over this again with the peach color so it's not as unnatural looking. Because this pink is a little too pink. Doesn't look quite like skin tone. Okay, and then we gotta do the fingers. Oh, that's too much. And it's okay if we get stuff all over the microphone. We'll go back over and paint that very carefully and very cautiously later on. Oh, and we have to do the tail as well while we're at it. Okay. There we go. Now I am probably, I know I always talk about stuff I'm thinking about doing and then I never haven't been doing most of it because I just haven't had the time. I am going to see if I can start another art project. There's 2 SCPs that I'm probably going to do not live because they're going to require mixed kind of media and I can't always set up all of that for the camera. So I'll do it in front of the camera, but it won't be on it'll be on video, but it won't be live because it'll be a lot of me starting and stopping and that just wouldn't work very well. So I'll do that. There's 2 SCPs. Someone had suggested A Ticket to Ride. Like, although that's the game. Is that what the SCP is called too? Or is that just the game? And I'm thinking of the game, but I think the SCP is called that as well. It's the cursed train ticket. So I found, talked about last time, but I found some train things. So I'm going to put some of those together as a base and then sculpt on top and do a mix of artwork because I may have to paint some stuff to go in the windows. So we'll see. But it's a lot of mixed media. And then there's the talking brain scientist dude who's a brain in a jar. And I want to do him, but he is also another one that's going to be a lot of mixed media. So I'm probably going to do it in front of the camera, but not on a live video because I'll have to stop so much in between. So let me see. I missed some of the seams on the bottom of his pants. I'll just darken these a bit so they don't look so weird. Okay. Now we're going to take our lighter brown and we're going to go over it again. And then we'll try to go over the pink sections with a lighter peachy color. That should look a little more natural. Okay. There we go. I think I like that pattern for his face. I think that's pretty cool. All right. I'm trying to think like what color the dress shirt should be. I mean, this yellowy color might be interesting if I did like a yellow. It's a little bright though. That might be a little too bright. Do a purple. I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll have to think on that for a bit. I genuinely do not know what color I should make his shirt. Okay. There we go. So we're toning down the pink a little bit with some peachy color. There we go. All right, let's see if we can make this tail look a little better. Okay. Now let's think. We gotta pick a shirt color. I know I could do a dark green. I feel like I do green a lot. I don't know, maybe a light blue would be a better notion. Let's go for blue. Let's do a light blue for the shirt. And we'll see how I like it. And we'll start with the dark blue and then we'll move to the lighter. I was thinking the pants would be like a dark blue, but maybe we won't do that. Maybe the pants will be black. I'll take a fine brush and touch up the collar at the top, because that's going to be somewhat difficult to do without touching the rat's fur. So. And I've been thinking too, like the reporter mics always have this little square on them because they usually have like the marking of whatever newscasting source they're, you know, working for. And I was trying to think of what our little rat might work for and what I should call that. If I should write anything on it or if I should just, you know, write random stuff. But I'm not sure. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think the mixed clay that I did, I actually really like the mix between the Sculpey and Fimo. That worked pretty well. I still wish I had a fully automatic clay press. I know they must make them, but the ones that I have seen are all the same, and they're really the cheap ones that I tried to use and broke in 20 minutes, and I'd need something that's quite powerful that's not gonna break if the clay's a little stiff or dried out. And hand powered, it's like it works, but it tires me out like crazy because I have to prep all the clay before I start the videos. And then by the time I start the videos, my hands hurt. So that is something I am still hunting for because it would make life so much easier. All right. Oh, no blue on the hands. Here we go. Yeah, actually the blue looks quite nice. I think that is a good choice. I think it's a nice contrast to the brown and the white. So I do think blue is the good choice there. The pants, I don't know. We could do like khaki dress pants. We could do dark dress pants. Maybe with the brown shoes, the brown dress shoes. I'm not sure. Okay. That is the base coat for the shirt. Now I'm going to take, I need a tiny brush so that we can do the top of the collar very carefully. Okay. All right, now we do the front of the cuffs. At least these I can see a little better. Okay. There we go. So now we have the base coat of the shirt for our rat reporter. Now let's see, pants. What color pants? We also have to do color buttons as well. And then we'll go and do the lighter coat of blue over this, but let me think. See, I feel like it's always going to be either khaki or black. Maybe black is a good option. We could just do black for the pants. Maybe that is the good choice here. And then the cuffs could be gray. I can see that working. So we'll go with that. Okay. And I think we will leave the belts being brown. I think that's a good move. But we'll, of course, do more shades of brown to make it look more detailed. But I do think I like the belts being brown. There we go. Now we have to do the top part, which is a little more detailed. So I'll grab one of my tiny brushes again for that. Sorry about that. I just realized I forgot to have the record button on. So hopefully the stream part of this goes just fine. Because I've had it delete one of the recordings I did on YouTube, just did not want to process, and I had to repost it. Thankfully I record them usually, but I did not record this one. I just started now, so it won't be a total loss if I lose the VOD, but I'm sure it won't do that. It typically doesn't. It's just every once in a while it does. So I'm paranoid now. And I always record. Just in case, because I need these clips for the editing. For the editing of the video that will show up later, whenever I have the time to do the 1-minute edit. Which those videos take so long to edit. Like, I'm bad at editing, so that's probably part of the issue. But it takes me at least an hour to 2 hours to do the 1-minute edits, and then I have to do the TikTok versus like shorts versus the normal like YouTube version. It's a lot of work. But I'm learning how to use DaVinci Resolve. It's decently intuitive, so it's not too bad. Now we gotta do the little belt loops on his pants. And we will do, the belt we'll do last. And that will be easier, so it's okay if we get black on the belt, that's fine. We will correct it later when we paint the belt. Okay. So now we're going to do the light color on the shirt while the pants dry. Oh, we could go ahead and, whoops. We could go ahead and do the gray on the cuffs real quick. So I'll go ahead and do that real fast. Then we'll do the shirt. Okay, there we go. That way the cuffs are done. So those can be drying for now. All right, let's do our blue. Okay. I do wish the shades of blue were not quite so different, because this is a drastic difference as opposed to a subtle one. But we'll go back and forth between the colors till we get it right. And it'll get there. Okay. And give him gold buttons. That might be nice. Do gold buttons and a gold belt buckle. I think I want a different brush. There we go. Yeah, this one's a little bigger. It's more the effect that I want. The other one was a little too small for this. There we go. Oh. Okay. And the other thing we're going to do is go back over the indented parts a bit with the dark blue to make sure that it highlights those crevices and details very well. So like the little corner pieces here that show where the fabric folds. I've been trying to get better at sculpting fabric because fabric is difficult. Like I have a rough notion of how fabric bends, It's usually related to how your muscles bend, the way they pull the fabric. But it's a little hard sometimes to achieve that effect. So I'm trying to improve. That's what I was experimenting a bit with his shirt, was trying to do fabric tugs and pulls. I did okay, but definitely not as well as I would like to do. So that's something I need to work on, I think. Because I see some artists that I follow. I follow a lot of sculptors who are just incredible. And it makes me realize like how subpar my work is. Even though people like it, it's not as precise and detailed, definitely, as some of the other artists that I follow. It's kind of like my digital art. It's just, it works and it doesn't look bad, but I have a lot that I really should focus on improving. But I am actively trying to improve. I still need to do the repeating my childhood art stuff, because I think that'll actually be somewhat encouraging, because I think it's going to be a lot better as an adult, and I think seeing that myself, seeing how much I have improved, is encouraging, because then it reminds me that I'm not horrible at everything. Okay. Kind of smooth the coloration out a little bit here. You can kind of see the difference between the one that I've gone over the second time versus the one I didn't. Looks a little better. And you kind of mix the paints together a little bit. Mute the light color just a tad. Okay. 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 There we go. Definitely looks better on the right side. I'm not sure why, but I've gotten in the habit of doing that sort of starting with a dark color, then going with the light color, and then going over it again with the dark color. For some reason, that just sort of blends it nicely. Makes it look better than if I did it in a different order. I mean, it does kind of make me do stuff multiple times, but it just ends up looking nicer for some reason. Okay. Okay. Oh. Okay. We got his shirt. Well, let me see if I can do the highlights one more time, just a little bit. With a slightly different blue. Yeah, this blue spreads a little nicer than the other one. That's the other thing too, is if you're doing highlights with a paint that is just not cooperating, it makes it a little harder. So this paint's a little waterier, a little softer. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just easier to apply than the other blue that I had up here. I think that one's just starting to dry out a little. Okay. There we got the shirt and the different colors on the shirt. So now I'm going to do the pants. And with the pants, we're just going to do the gray to kind of give it some texture. I need more like mid-sized brushes. I don't know why they like to make all brushes really tiny or like really really large. I guess not really large, but larger than works for what I'm currently doing. Okay, we're just gonna add a little texture to the pants. Not a ton. Okay. Kind of see the little bit of shading we're adding to the pants. And I'm mostly just dry brushing this because you add the texture to the sculpture, then when you very lightly go over it with a brush, it shows up like this. And it makes a nice texture without too much effort. Or having to paint super precisely. Although I will admit, if you paint super precisely, it does tend to look a little better. But I ain't got time for that. So I'm a little bit lazy when it comes to that. I've done it with the miniature models before that I was being paid to paint. When there was a lack of proper texture on the model itself. I tried to create it by painting it very carefully, but generally no, it's easier if you put texture to the model and then just dry brush your way over it. Okay. And I think that is a spot I need to touch up the black on real quick here. We can further highlight the dark shading sections. Like so. Or the cuffs with the black paint that we have, yeah. Okay. We can do this. That's still pretty well defined. Okay, there we go. He's got the pants. There we go. Okay, so we got to do the belts now, and I think also we will take a second to do, let me see, the buttons. We still have to do the buttons. We should probably do the belt first. Come to think of it, we should do the belt first because the belt buckle can also be gold, and then we won't have to pull out the gold twice. Okay. So the belt, I'm going to do a very bright brown. Apparently, I just grabbed this color and didn't think about it, so we're going with it. This is going to be the belt color. All right, there we go. We have the brown belt. Okay. And then we need to have, let's see, probably a lighter. We could do a darker brown actually. We'll do the darker brown over the middle just a little bit to to give some texture to it. Whoops, that is blue. I do not wish to have the blue on this. That would be bad. Alright. Okay. Here we go. We got some texture on the belt now. Now we will do the buckle and the buttons. Those we are going to do gold. If I can find a good gold. This will suffice. Oh. Now we will probably have to do the gold more than once. The metallic paints tend to be very thin, but that is okay. You just make more than one coat. Okay. Okay, so we have the basics there done. We need to do the shoes and the microphone. Now I want to pull up the microphone from like a reporter because I feel like there are specific specific ways that looks, and I want some inspiration on that. We're almost done though. Hold on. Nah, I can't type. Okay. So yeah, they are typically black. So that's where we should go with the color. We should go ahead and paint this entirely black. And then maybe like a red. Yeah, we're going with the black one that has like the foam on top. So we're going to paint this whole thing black. Okay. Okay. Trying to think, what's the name? If I'm coming up with a name to put on this microphone, what is the name of the rat family, the rodent family? I'm trying to think, what are they called? I'm gonna have to Google this in a second here. If it's too complex of a name, I won't be able to fit it on the mic. But what is the... It's something that sounds like rat, though, so I don't know that I'm going to use it. It's a little too on the nose. Well, let me see real quick. What is the scientific classification of a rat? Yeah, it is Rattus. So we're not using Rattus because that's kind of too on the nose. Rodentia is the... yeah. Muridae. So Muridae is... Muridae? Murids. Oh, we can use Murid. Muridae is the family that rats and rodents belong to. Okay, we'll use Murid. It can be Murid News. I think that'd be kind of cute. Alright, so we're going to paint it in white, and I need a toothpick. Let's see if I can spell this out. Toothpick writing. Okay. Okay, we just got to get 3 letters in the middle there, and it's pretty tight. So... Murid. There we go. We got it on there. Murid News. Well, I don't know why I'm acting like news is a shorter word. It's the same letter count. Okay, we need to redo the news part. That's messed up. I messed that up. Let's erase. Erase. Try again. Okay. Toothpick writing is very difficult. Sometimes it's easier just to dot it instead of write. There we go. There we go, you can see Murid News. Okay, and I think maybe we should give the microphone a red or a metal. It should probably have a metal. We'll do metallic. A metal, what's the word I'm looking for? The ring around it, it should be a metallic color. So we'll do that real quick here. That's not bright enough. I will go ahead and do this on the top piece here because I think that's in the handle. That faint metallic look is good for that, but it's not bright enough for the what I was going for there for a second. So this will just be in between. Okay. I need a lighter silver. Where did my silver go? Oops. Oh, is that the one I dropped on the floor ages ago? Yeah. It is. It's right here. Sorry about that. I dropped it under the table. I saw it the other day and I totally forgot. Some of those things, like you'll see something, you're like, oh, I need to grab that. But my hands were full. And in my defense, because of my surgery thing, my leg hasn't been working too great. So I wasn't able to get on the floor too easy. But yeah, I can't believe I dropped that on the floor like a week ago. And it's still been there. I can't believe I left it there the whole time. That's terrible. I can't believe I did that. Okay, so there we go. We have the metallic thing on the microphone. Now we're going to go over our gold buttons and otherwise our belt buckle. I'm going to go over it again. Oh, I almost forgot about the pencil that's just been sitting here. Oops. Okay, there we go. We got the gold buttons in the belt buckle. Now we need to paint this pencil real quick here. Okay. We'll leave that to dry a little bit and we'll do another coat in a little bit of a brighter yellow. I should probably go ahead and do the silver and the pink for the eraser sections. And then we'll paint the tip of it last. Okay, and then the pink eraser. I almost forgot. Can't believe I almost forgot about our pencil. Okay, that's paint's really thin, so we'll work on that later. We'll let it dry for a little bit. All right, so now we have the shoes. Now let's see. I think we will stick with brown for the shoes. That seems like a good idea. I think we'll make the laces black. But I think we will do a lighter brown. We're going to match the brown that we did on the belts. I found a pair of like these that were this color, but they have like black highlights on all of the crevices, and I kind of like that look, so we're gonna go with that, and we'll do black laces for the shoes. Because I think it looks kind of cool. There we go. Then we will do really dark paint and there we go. Kind of like that. There we go. We'll do some darkening around the soles here. And I do think, weirdly enough, I might do faint metallic paint. Just to give it a little bit of a shimmery look. To get that sort of dress shoes leather look. I think that'll accomplish that, so. Okay. Let's take a little bit of our copper here. I think the copper will be the right one to do this with. Yeah, use the copper. See, that gives it a little bit, if you can see the difference, the shininess. Makes it look like fancy leather, kinda. A little bit. Not very much, just a little bit. Perfect. There we go. I like that. All right. Now, is there anything left to do other than pencil? Almost forgot about the pencil again. Well, let's get our yellow paint out here. We will continue working on our pencil. There we go. Oh, crap. I need to spill it. Yeah, this paint has gotten really liquidy and separated. I think our yellow might be a better bet. I think it's, yeah, it's a little better consistency. The only thing about buying the cheapest paints available is they are very affordable, but they are not very consistent. So see, if we want to be accurate, I could do the streaks kind of like this. Okay. Like so. I need a teeny tiny brush. Where are all my little brushes? Aha, there's another one. We're gonna do the metallic paint again. Okay, and then now we are going to do the pink again. And then as soon as we get this done, we just need to glue the pencil to the ear and the notebook to the hand. I think we're pretty much finished. And I think he's going to be Rodney, because that's the name I was leaning toward. So he's going to be Rodney the Reporter Rat. Here we go. At the end of our pencil a little better. Now we do need to let this dry just a little bit. I'll look over our little rat guy here. I could paint, while waiting for this to dry, I will paint the bottom of his shoes black, just so that there's a base color on the bottom. Doesn't need to be, but it does look a little more professional when I do that, as opposed to when I just don't and it looks awful. And I might need to touch up the base of the tail as well, because it looks icky. I am very bad about just not doing the bottom of sculptures at all, because you don't see it, and then my brain's just kind of like, not important. Okay. Now we need to take this light color and our, light color, and we need to put it on our pencil. Okay. And there we go. Pencil's a little rough, but it's okay. It'll be all right. Okay. I feel like our eraser isn't pink enough. All right. We're going to put a little dot of glue on his ear. Right there. And then we're going to take the pencil and just pop it right where it was. Perfect. Oh, crap. And there went my glue. I cannot hold on to anything today. Okay. As everything falls and crashes and burns. Okay. Now we are going to do a tiny dot of glue on the hand. We're going to put our notebook right here. Okay, and I think with that, we are pretty much done. Yeah, it was about an hour. That was pretty fast, actually. I think my painting videos typically don't take quite as long. But let's pull him up for the camera now. You can see he's got the little pencil on his ear. The back of his shirt, his tail, his pants, his shoes. If you watched this video, I greatly appreciate it, especially if you got this far and watched all the way through, or if you're like me and you just skip to the end of things so you can see what the final result is. That's fine. I do that too. However, any engagement I get, I'm very appreciative for. If there's anything you'd like to see me sculpt, feel free to comment. I take suggestions. I do pay attention to the comments I get to the best of my ability. So if you suggest something cool, I will certainly add it to my list. And I hope that you have a wonderful morning, night, whatever time it is for you. It's like late at night. It's 10 o'clock now here. But I hope you have a wonderful evening.